Join me as I dive deep into the world of dolls to figure out why they give so many people the creeps. There's something about dolls that just doesn't sit right with a lot of people. They're supposed to be innocent, harmless toys, but for many of us, they evoke a sense of unease, even fear. So, what is it about dolls that makes them so unsettling? On the surface, dolls seem like the ultimate symbol of childhood innocence. They're meant to be cute, cuddly, and harmless. But for many people, dolls represent something much darker, something that taps into our deep-seated fears. Maybe it's the way they stare at us with their blank, unblinking eyes, or the way their frozen smiles seem to mock us. Whatever it is, there's no denying that dolls have a strange power to unnerve us. But why do we find them so creepy? Is it because they're trying to be human, but failing miserably? Is it because they're just a little too perfect, a little too artificial? Whatever the reason, it's clear that dolls have a deep psychological impact on many of us. Take, for example, the way dolls are often depicted in horror movies. They're always the creepy, possessed villain, always lurking in the shadows, waiting to pounce. It's almost as if we're tapping into some deep-seated fear of dolls, a fear that's been building up for centuries. Dolls have been around for thousands of years, serving various purposes in different cultures. In ancient Egypt, they were used as offerings to the gods. In Japan, they were used as symbols of good luck. But in many African cultures, dolls were used as effigies, meant to capture the spirits of ancestors. It's no wonder then that dolls have come to represent both life and death, innocence and malevolence. In the Victorian era, dolls became a status symbol, with rich families commissioning elaborate handmade dolls for their children. But these dolls were more than just toys. They were also seen as a way to teach children about morality, about right and wrong. And yet, despite their educational purpose, these dolls still managed to creep people out. Maybe it's because they were just a little too realistic, a little too lifelike. The uncanny valley effect is a psychological theory that explains why we find human-like objects, like dolls, so creepy. Essentially, it says that the more human-like an object is, the more we'll like it, until it becomes too human-like, at which point our brains start to freak out. It's as if we're hardwired to recognize when something is trying to mimic humanity, but failing. One of the most famous haunted dolls is Robert the Doll, a creepy antique doll that's said to be possessed by the spirit of a young boy. According to legend, Robert was given to a child as a gift, but the child died soon after and the doll was left to haunt the family for generations. It's a classic urban legend, but it speaks to a deep-seated fear of dolls that many of us can't shake. In many ways, dolls represent the ultimate taboo, the fear of death, the fear of the unknown, the fear of something that's both human and not human at the same time. Maybe that's why we find them so creepy, why we can't help but be drawn to their unsettling presence. So what have we learned about dolls? Well, for one thing, we've learned that they're a lot more complex than we give them credit for. They tap into deep-seated fears, cultural symbolism, and psychological theories that explain why they're so unsettling. But most of all, we've learned that dolls are a reflection of ourselves, a reflection of our darkest fears and desires. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you have any creepy doll stories or experiences, be sure to share them in the comments below. And if you want more spooky content, be sure to check out our next video on haunted toys.